guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Batman and Robin. This is my VHS copy. It definitely has seen better days. Most of my other VHS are in better condition. But you know, it's not a bad one. Picture's good, right? That's what really matters, that the tape plays. So I'm just gonna dive straight into the characters. So this may be controversial, but George Clooney's Batman is my favorite Batman. And I used to just say Ben Affleck because he was the hottest, right? But after watching this, I think he had the character down more than anyone else I've ever seen who plays him. And there's a lot of people online where you'll be like, oh, maybe if they gave him a decent script, whatever. It's the whole guys that are pro edgelord Batman or whatever. I don't really know how to describe it. It's not a bad thing, but you have to be able to appreciate a movie for being fun, which this movie is. You know, they gave him a fun script. They gave him a silly script because it's a fun movie. I would have liked to see George Clooney play him a lot more, honestly. And I've seen a lot of behind the scenes and interviews or whatever. It seems like Chris O'Donnell enjoyed working with him also. They had a lot of fun from what they've told people. And I also do love the Chris O'Donnell Robin. Especially in this movie. He's really funny. He's really witty, whatever, you know. Also, one thing I really appreciate about this movie is there is no love interest that they turned into a character for no reason, right? Like, I think he has a girlfriend in the beginning, right? And then like Ivy seduces him or whatever, and then Robin likes Batgirl. A problem I have with a lot of the Burtonverse Batman movies, especially Batman Forever, is that they introduce Batman's new girlfriend, and especially with Chase Meridian, you know, she does not need to be an asset to the story. And it's like, oh wow, she figured this out. It's like, guess what? They could have figured that out if they gave him 5 more seconds, you know? Anyways, I'll talk about that more in my Batman Forever review, so I'm not gonna get all into details about that. I really did like Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl. She's definitely not the traditional version, obviously, but I don't think it was bad. I also really truly love Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy. I think she played the character very well. I love Uma Thurman. I'm a huge like Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill fan, whatever, you know. I loved her costume. I think they were really good about it being true to the comics, but also having it look nice. I love the way that her character talks. The only other Poison Ivy representation I've seen is in Arkham Knight, I believe, and Arkham City, I want to say. Out of those, she's my favorite. It's a very different type of character, obviously. And I also really did like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. And he is like a more silly version of him, but you know, it's a funny, silly movie, and I think he fit that really well. I love whatever paint they used to paint his body. That sounds really weird. Oh, but my dad has a really big TV, and so I saw it for the first time over there, and like the way that his face sparkles is just so cool. That must have been a bitch to put on and take off, though. I can't even imagine. But I also think the suit they gave him is really cool, so that's awesome. Unfortunately, this does have the same issue that I found in other Burtonverse movies that I've talked about before. Watch half the movie, it seems like it should be over, and there's a whole entire hour to go. I've talked about it many times before, but I had this issue with the Burtonverse movies where my attention span is just completely gone for the second half of the movie because it is, you know, this is the plot right here. This is how you're gonna go get the bad guy. And there's an entire other hour leading up to that. And that's just hard for me to process personally because I know exactly what needs to happen. And so they're adding all this extra character arcs and whatnot. And it's like, okay, just get to the point, you know? That's the only bad thing I have to say about this movie. Oh, also, I do not want to forget to mention, I love the Bane in this movie. I love the whole thing with the crazy scientist guy at the beginning. That was really fun and cool to me personally. And he's definitely not the stereotypical Bane that talks and whatever. He's kind of like a He's kind of like a zombie assistant to Poison Ivy, and I honestly really enjoyed that, like, version of that character. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about it for now. Thank you for indulging my little rant.